Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake on YouTube, and what we're going to make is condensed milk. You know, I was working on a recipe and I opened up a can of condensed milk, which was not expired, but it was like hard sludge. I mean, it definitely was bad, so I had to throw it away. And the more I thought about it, it was like, well, why don't I make my own condensed milk? It's probably cheaper, and I wanted to finish that recipe, so I did this recipe, and it does work, and it does taste good. You know, so many times we use condensed milk for cookies and desserts and pies, and you know, I mean, I could go on how often we do use condensed milk, sweetened condensed milk. So I'm going to show you a quick recipe how to make your own condensed milk. Now, some people might write and tell me, well, you know, it's easier to buy it. Yeah, it is, but if you're in a situation where you need it, you've got a recipe, and you don't have any condensed milk in the house or in your pantry, then you can make your own. Or maybe you prefer to make your own, who knows. But anyway, let's get started. First, you're going to start off with whatever brand that you prefer. 1 can, which is generally 12 ounces of evaporated milk. And this evaporated milk, of course, is the milk that we're so familiar in using when we make pumpkin pies and again, so many other desserts and cookies and cakes. But you'll need 1 can, which is 12 ounces. And then on your cooktop in a saucepan, or like saying in my little pot, I'm going to put that in, okay. I didn't have a big enough bowl to put that whole can in, so I had to use 2 bowls. And you will need, of course, a spatula. Go ahead and use a whisk if you prefer, on medium-high. Then you're going to put 1½ cups of granulated sugar, and just put that all in there. Now, what you're also going to be having standing by is a ½ teaspoon of vanilla, and you can put a little bit more if you prefer. Now, what you want to do is just keep stirring this constantly. Don't let it out of your sight, and just keep it moving with your spoon or your spatula. And you want to bring it to a boil, okay? And I really wait to see that I have a rolling boil, and you want to start to see it where it starts to thicken. And that really depends on the temperature that you're using on your stove top, or you know, in a pot like this or whatever, but medium-high is your best bet. And what I find is the longer you cook it, if you boil it too long, you'll get like heavy lumps in it, and then you can you know, sift it out if that happens. But you just want to bring it to a boil, and it really depends. You know, I could say, well, that'll take 3 minutes, or it'll take 5, but it really depends on what vessel and how you're cooking it on the stove top or whatever. So, you know, it's really kind of sometimes experimentation. And but the main thing is that you want it to come to a nice boil. You want to keep stirring it and that kind of thing. You'll also need some type of heat bowl, or something that you can put in that can withstand heat, because this does get very hot. And I want to warn you not to splash your skin with it, because boy, it burns. And the reason I say that is it's happened to me. So you know, do be careful with this mixture. Right now there's not a whole lot happening. It's really hasn't begun to boil, at least to where I would like it to be. And once you do find that it boils, then put your ½ teaspoon of vanilla in, okay? All right, I'm at a boil right now, and it's beginning a roaring boil. I'm going to put my ½ teaspoon of vanilla, and sometimes I actually put a little bit more. I think it flavors it a little bit. You know, you can add a little bit more, or 3/4 of a teaspoon, that kind of thing. And just stay with it. And this is where I usually time it. Once it starts really rolling boil, then I stay with it, and it's usually about anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes or something like that. Well, I'm not going to bore you with that amount of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut this off, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. I would have been boiling it a bit longer than this, but I want to show you what it looks like so far. I hope that you can see that. Okay, and again, it's quite liquidy at this point. It's going to be thicker when you stay with it, that's for sure, okay? And I like to cool mine down. I put it in the refrigerator or in the freezer for 10 minutes. So as it cools down, it's going to get thicker. Now I have some to show you that has been made up and I've had in the refrigerator, and I placed it in this container. I'm going to give it a good stir here. And there you can see it. It's really, just really like condensed milk that comes out of the can. It'll have a little bit of a caramel color to it. At least mine always does. And you can see the consistency. So yes, if you stay with it, boil it till it becomes a bit thick, okay? And then turn the heat off because you don't want to burn it. And then again, wait till it sets up. And once it cools, you're going to have this really nice textured condensed milk for your cookies or your baked goods or your desserts and that kind of thing. Now, I generally get roughly about a cup. Once that it, cools down and settles down in thickness, I get a cup of that out of that, okay, when you make it. So I hope you try this recipe by just using a can of evaporated milk, 1.5 cups of sugar, and a 1/2 teaspoon or a little more of vanilla. It's well worth your time. It really is. I want to tell you that I no longer put the recipe below the video, and I'm really sorry about that, but and I'm not alone on this, but so many people pin and post and take my work to other sites, and nothing's more frustrating than when you folks write to me and I can't answer you. So I would kindly ask you to please watch me on Diane Lovetobake on YouTube, because if you have a question or a comment, or you tried this recipe and you liked it, boy, I'd like to hear from you. I'm going to be able to answer you in a timely fashion. So I want to thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake. If you're so inclined and you'd like to subscribe, boy, I really appreciate it. I think I'm 33 away from 20,000 subscribers. And I want to thank every one of them and every one of you that take the time to watch my videos or take the time to write. I can't thank you enough. So, again, I want to thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. Stay well, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.